One of the achievement standards you're offered in mainstream English at level 3 is respond critically to significant connections across texts. We really like this standard because you get a chance to think about how these texts are connected. You get a chance to pick texts that you want to study, and you also get 4 credits for it. You do need to be a thinker when it comes to doing this standard, so we really do expect you to be doing some investigation rather than just presenting simple findings that you find. When you do your report, you need to be having examples from the text, and this might be quotes that you find from your film or from your books or your short texts, or it might even be techniques that are used that have an effect, and these are connected across all 4 of your texts. The reason why this is fantastic is that you get to do some investigating. You pick your texts, you interpret the ideas in them, and then you make some judgments, some evaluations about what you've found out. We're really looking for some perceptive thinking. We need you to have some insights, and we need you to go a bit beyond what you find and give some personal voice to your interpretations. To give you a bit of help on PC for me, we've got a sheet under the folder for 3.7 called Text Selection and How They Are Connected. If you go and have a wee look at that, you'll be able to see lots of texts, and you'll be able to see some of the ways that they could be connected. It's up to you to pick your connections. You could pick connections simply because they're the same genre. In fact, you could pick all dystopian texts, and that would be one of your connections. You might pick connections because they all have a twist ending. However, just stating they have a twist ending is not going to be enough to pass the standard. You need to be able to explain why a director or an author has put a twist ending in there, what effect does it have, and what reaction it causes in the audience. Many of our texts have looked at people who are in control by a government. So you might have the government control as your connection. So you need to make that link across all of your texts and show how people in the particular society you're looking at react to living under control of a government organisation. You need to be able to make a connection across all 4 texts. Your minimum connection is 1. You only have to do 1 connection. However, we think having 2 or 3 connections will be able to take this to a deeper level of understanding. The 4 texts that you choose can all be chosen by you if that's what you want. You are allowed to choose texts that we have studied in class. However, one of the choices that you make must be a personal choice, something that hasn't been studied in class. You can choose 4 films if you like. You can choose 4 short stories. You can have a variety and a mixture, but there must be 4 texts, and at least one of them must be personally chosen by you. We really would like you to, if you choose a film outside of what we've studied in class, we'd really like you to run that by your teacher first, just to make sure it's going to be acceptable at this level. We really also encourage you to look at some of the dystopian texts we've studied in class. Because you've already got notes on them, it's going to make life a wee bit easier. But again, when it comes down to it, the texts that you choose are what you are interested in. But do please run them by your teacher to make sure they'll be acceptable at this level. When it comes to the presentation of your work, most people who do this standard present it as a comparative essay. You're simply writing a report showing the 4 connections that you have across the texts, connections you have across all 4 texts, and whether it be 1, 2 or 3 connections. Don't do any more than 3. You're not going to get any higher grade, and in fact you probably won't be able to go into depth with masses of connections. There are lots of ideas available on PC for me, and I'll go over those in a minute. When it comes to you doing a presentation, you can simply just hand this in as a written report. That is fine. But if you are not a written person, if you prefer to do a speaking presentation, you can present this as an oral presentation and maybe support it with a Prezi or a PowerPoint. You could even do it as a written presentation, but have some visuals included in it that show techniques that might have been used. It's up to you how you present it. Now, there's lots of background information available. Some of the things I really recommend you go and have a wee look at are the 3.7 task, which is available on PC for me. We also have some exemplars there that have been annotated, so you can see from excellence right down to not achieved, and what has been done well and what not so well. The blank logs are available. Now, for every text you do, you must write a log, so you've got some background information. We also recommend you do a comparison grid, so that you're comparing each of your texts and what their similarities are. When you look on PC for me, definitely look at that text selection and connections ideas chart. It will give you a whole range of texts that are available, and there'll be things that you already know, so you might like to pick some of the books that you already know. There's also a really good couple of framework ideas if you're doing a written report, just how to get it started, and it models like a template of how to go about writing your report. And finally, some people have problems just getting started with the introduction, and there are some sentence starters that might help you get the ball rolling and get your introduction started. So I hope you really enjoy this standard. Choose texts that you react to, that you feel a connection with, and hopefully you will enjoy this, delving deeply and doing some critical thinking about what you can find in the texts. Good luck.